Hey there. It's October. It's the tail end of International Menopause Awareness Month, and I just wanted to get another message in under that banner. And that thing is that I want you to know something important. And that is that you may have some mysterious things going on and you may not really feel like yourself, but you're not broken and you're not powerless. So those are some pretty key things to start with. Now, for a lot of women, they struggle with really a lot of unexplained fatigue, unexplained symptoms. This fatigue is something that no coffee can fix. You can't get a venti latte large enough to solve that problem. You might have anxiety that just comes out of nowhere. There might be brain fog that lands mid-sentence and you forget what you were saying, or you were in a meeting and you can't remember someone's name. You've worked with them for years and suddenly you don't know their name. Maybe there's a depression that feels different from anything you've had before. It's just this kind of desire to recluse yourself from life. You don't understand what's going on. There's nothing really to explain, why you're feeling this way. You may have persistent bloating. So this is like a gas feeling. It may happen especially after you eat. And it could give you gas. It could make you feel bloated. You can have a lot of burping. You could have a lot of farting. It can take all these different shapes and sizes, but it makes you feel very uncomfortable. And it probably means that your clothes don't fit you anymore. So that can be quite inconvenient. Or maybe you've got muscle and joint soreness that, you say, well, this can't be right. I'm only in my 40s. Why do I feel like I'm in my 80s? You try and get up from a chair and everything kind of aches and feels sore. These are all things that happen frequently to women in midlife, and you're not imagining it. These things happen, and it's unfortunate, but they do. But I'm here to tell you that you don't need to accept this as just getting older. This is not how it works. This is how it can work, but it's not how it has to work. And I know you've probably tried to get rid of these things. Maybe you've tried a bunch of, magic pills that you ordered on the internet from some silver-tongued person promising you that all these things would go away. Maybe you've gone to your doctor and you've carefully described your symptoms. You may even have, taken a list with all your symptoms carefully listed there. And obviously looking for some help and some support and some answers to what exactly is going on. Probably there was some blood work involved and it probably came back normal. Everything is fine. But you were probably offered some antidepressants or some sleeping pills because sleep is such a big problem for I think the number is 80% of women have trouble sleeping when they're in midlife. So this is a pretty common issue. But one of the real sad things about getting a prescription for sleeping aids is that something like 75% of people have side effects, which can, really complicate the problem. And maybe you don't know what you're feeling is the original symptom or the side effect, and which is worse, right? It's just not really a good solution. And maybe your doctor told you to exercise more. Maybe he said stress less, right? That try not to stress out or relax. Or here's a good one. Maybe you were told to just wait it out. Well, that can be a long time. This period of confusion can last for, 10 or 15 years. So that's certainly not a solution that I would recommend. And if all this happened, if all this sounds like you, then you probably left that appointment feeling dismissed, feeling confused, maybe feeling gaslit and maybe more alone than when you even walked in, right? This is a trusted health provider. And if they haven't provided you with help, then it has been a big disappointment. So here's what I'd like you to understand. Just because traditional medicine doesn't have answers that solve your problems, it doesn't mean that answers don't exist, right? And that's the good news. So if you've been resonated with any of these problems, then that's unfortunate, but it doesn't have to be the final answer. And there is another perspective. So what I'm going to suggest is that your body isn't mysteriously failing you, right? All these symptoms, the exhaustion, the brain fog, the mood changes, all that physical discomfort, those are all signals. They're biochemical signals telling you that your hormones are shifting pretty dramatically during this perimenopause and menopause period that affect everything in your body, from your metabolism to your brain chemistry, right to your inflammatory response. So, that is happening. That's so these signals are actually pinpointing what some of these things are rather than simply being inconvenient. And here's the empowering truth. You can do something about it. And that is a very good piece of news to get. There are practitioners who specialize in understanding some of this hormonal dance that's going on in your body right now. And there are approaches that look beyond just the surface level to address the actual root causes. So what are those biochemical signals actually talking about? There are solutions that honor that complexity of what you're experiencing. And, they are not simply reducing all this to just aging or just stress. All right. There's a way to look at all these signals and make sense out of it. So, a lot of the women I work with have come to me because their career is in jeopardy, right? But there are other things going on as well, and perhaps they're not so quick to complain about that because it's more personal. But there are relationships that suffer when all this is going on, right? You don't know what's happening, so you can't really explain it to people. And whether they're relationships with your colleagues at work, or whether it's with your family or with your friends, those are all taking a beating while you're in this state of flux. So that's pretty challenging. And of course, your quality of life is taking a hit, and your doctor hasn't helped you, so now you're just sort of wondering what the heck is going on, and that's going to have an impact on your joy factor, right? So then just want you to think back: when was the last time I really laughed, or I really felt joy? Because a lot of women just kind of forget about that for a couple of years even. So that's not good. That's definitely not good. That's a quality of life that needs some support. But you have options. I'm here to tell you that you have agency and you are in charge. So there are things that you can do. This transition doesn't have to mean decline, right? You may feel like you're declining, but we can roll back time and we can fix that. With the right support and the understanding of what's actually happening to your body, you can feel like yourself again, right? You can be energized, clear-headed, capable, strong, and nurturing of all the relationships that you're already in, and feeling kind of more in your normal role with the people that make up your life. So if you're ready to stop accepting all these symptoms as some kind of horrid new normal and start getting some real answers, then I invite you to schedule a discovery call. We can talk about what's going on, how it's affecting you at work, how it's affecting you personally, and I'm here to support you. I'll take your experience seriously, and I have the tools to help. So I encourage you to make that call. You deserve to feel good in your body, and you deserve solutions, not just dismissal. Take care.